How are you, Carlo?
I'm so good. How are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you for coming on to the Creative Department podcast by creators for creators.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I was literally thinking about that this morning and I was like, I'm going to be on this podcast today. What if I like, what if I like try to say all of the podcast cliches? Thanks for having me. All those other things. And I was like, oh God, what am I going to do?
That's
But thank
so
you for having me.
funny. Yeah, of course.
This is so cool that you're doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think we've talked about this. I've wanted to have you on for the longest time now. I want to start by saying I've taken so much inspiration from you over the years. Carlo and I used to be neighbors, and very coincidentally, he's into photography and videography like myself. And so, yeah, I think it's cool that we've kept in touch, even though we've moved away from each other, and yeah, still chat pretty frequently, honestly.
Yeah, no, I could say the same thing. I feel like you're one of the biggest reasons that pushed me to start my YouTube video or my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's like we're helping each other.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. I think I'm going to just jump into some questions right here.
All right.
I think that you have so much to offer, and I think that people would love to hear your aspects of your work. I wanted to ask you super quickly, do you consider yourself a videographer, a photographer, or both?
So you know what? I do more photography, I think, more photo sessions. So I think that I would consider myself primarily more a photographer.
Interesting.
I do wedding videos, I do business videos and stuff like that. And I don't know. I want to consider myself a cinematographer. That's the ultimate goal. And so I don't like that word videographer because it feels
Sure.
it just feels so, you know what I mean? Like it just feels so boom, here's my camera.
Yeah,
I'm just recording it. You know what I mean?
for sure.
I want to be more of like a filmmaker,
Yeah.
cinematographer, lighting, everything. You know what I mean?
Right. That's kind of why I asked too, because I see you as like a cinema photographer, and you've inspired me too. It's like, especially with like, your short film competition of just like getting out there and like doing it, and that really resonates, I mean, with me. I think it's fun to do that kind of stuff too, because like there's this element of doing the stuff for free and for fun, which I think always turns out to have benefits in your day-to-day work, so yeah, I love that.
Absolutely.
Can you tell me a little bit about Backlit Studio?
So I'm constantly like creating so many different brands.
No, I love it. I love it.
So Backlit Cinema was supposed to be a hub for all of my all of my videos that I was doing with my FX6, my Sony FX6.
Gotcha.
And so that was like when I got this camera, I was thinking like, yeah, I'm going to do a bunch of different shit. And I have essentially, but I just haven't really kept up with like uploading it on the Instagram and stuff. I primarily just use my personal one, my cup of Carlo.
Yeah.
But the backlit cinema, and if you see like for the video people watching the backlit, if you see those like stickers or something, it was supposed to be kind of like this, like I said, a little hub, but I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. I think well, it's because I think your branding is really good too. So I think anything you do is really nice.
Oh, thank you. And I got the creative department sticker again.
Fire.
For those of you watching.
So good. Yeah, I love that. I kind of thought like Backlit Studio was also just, I like it when you said it's a hub, like of just your studio in general, anything that kind of comes like in and out of it. I didn't know that it was specifically for anything pertaining with your FX6. I thought it was kind of anything that came out of your studio, really.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I got the FX6, like, I don't know, I think it was like almost a year ago or something that I've been using it. And I've done different projects. Like you helped me with the San Diego 48-hour film project that we did. And so I used that and stuff. And so that was kind of like and I shot a wedding video in Greece and all this stuff. And it was, it's supposed to be kind of like a little hub, but I haven't, I haven't done it.
That's awesome. I didn't even know you went to Greece. That's crazy.
You did?
When did you go?
So my friend coworker was getting married in June of last year, June of 2022. Mm-hmm. And so we flew out, we hung out in Mykonos for a little bit, and then we took the ferry over to Santorini, and then
nice.
hung out there for a little bit, and then they got married on like one of the last days that we were there. It was so cool. And then I filmed it and stuff, and I pretty much documented awesome. The whole kind of trip, and then I made like a 18 or 20 minute video for them and stuff. And so it was really cool. It was like so beautiful and so fun, and
that's so awesome. Yeah, I would definitely like to go. What year was that?
It was last year, 2022.
Oh, nice. That's awesome. Well, cool. We talked about it a little bit, about like kind of your short films and stuff like that. Is that something you still kind of primarily want to focus on, is like short films? I know we've had these conversations a lot, about trying to figure out what the next kind of theme or plot of the next short film is. Is that like something you seriously you want to keep doing, huh?
Yeah. Excuse me. So I really want to start making more short films. And I want to primarily focus on being the DP cinematographer, like the director of photography cinematographer. I don't really want to worry about the way that the characters are acting or like the directing of it, and
right.
I just want to focus on like getting the best shot, using the the right lighting for the situation, etc. And I think that I would be open to filming music videos as well. I mean, I haven't yet, because I feel like they're kind of like the same, and especially now. Have you seen like NF's Hope music video? Oh, just badass. It's so cool. And so you should check it out, definitely. When I saw that, the song just came out and the video just came out pretty recently, maybe a month ago or a couple months ago. And it's just like incredible. And it looks like a short film, and that's kind of where I feel like music videos are going, to be more like short film, story driven, beautiful lighting, beautiful camera work, beautiful editing, etc.
That's essentially what they are, short films too. It's so crazy you say that. I think that a lot of the music videos that have been released in the last couple of years have just this really high quality to them, and that there's this one specific YouTube. He's not a YouTuber. He directs a lot of music videos. His name's Cole Bennett. And his brand is called Lyrical Lemonade, and he works with a lot of rappers primarily, like Uzi, Yachty. I mean, people in that genre, right? And his films are really, really good. His editing is well, and I think that it's a giant production. It's almost the same of what's going into short films. Yeah. Essentially, except for a 3-minute music video, which is a crazy concept.
Yeah, it's insane. Definitely check out that NF Hope video. Yeah, because you're gonna be blown away. It's so cool.
Nice. I think I've had that common interest of wanting to shoot people that do music and stuff like that, but I've never really found. There's a couple people that I do really enjoy, but I want to find somebody that's just I really believe in and go shoot it.
Okay, fine, we'll shoot. Okay, fine.
Let's do it. I want to talk about a little bit of in your studio. You use a lot of backdrops and colors, and I love all that. You're really good with the lighting, the moody lighting as well. I think you've opened me up to that side of photography and stuff like that, where I really I never really did anything too out of the box or out of the ordinary, which I've always seen you do. Like you have this light where it looks like shutters on a blind, super
Yeah.
moody. Can you talk a little bit about maybe your portrait work or photography work that, I mean, maybe what makes you take those angles?
We could just cut this part out because I don't know. I'm just
Because I feel like you don't think it's creative, but because you do it so naturally. But to me, I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have done that.
So I think that I've recently started getting more into lighting and figuring out cool different ways to light a subject or light a background or something. Playing with light and shadow. And for example, like I'm looking at right now, it's a Forza 500. It's a LED COB monolight. And for that, I have a huge projector mount, which is what you're referring to, where you can pull out these sides and kind of make it open and shape the light however you want. If you want it to be a square, you just kind of push those top and bottom handles in and the sides, and then you can like change the focus to make it like harder, sharper, yeah, harder light, or you can change the focus to make it softer or something. And so I've just kind of been having fun and playing around with those types of things. And even if it's just, I guess, I think the ultimate goal, I think what it comes down to is like the ultimate goal is like, a lot of times you want it to look natural, but like buzzword cinematic, like, so you're going to want it to look like that. But if obviously, like if you have a natural sort of look and you're just turning on the overhead lights, what you think is like natural, it's not going to look like that. So you're lighting to look natural, but you're doing that by making a ton of lights, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, 1,000%. I think it's interesting that you said like you feel like you've just been getting like the knack of lighting, because I feel like you've had that skill set for quite some time now. I think I would say for years.
Yeah. Oh,
even more than what I like, because I remember vividly. I'm like, oh yeah, Carlos is a step ahead on the lighting, even just from conversations that we've had.
Yeah. Oh well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, that's always good to hear. Like that you think like that I'm doing good.
I think you're amazing. You do a really good job of networking too. A lot of your clients too, would you say kind of Instagram is your main source of referral based leads and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely Instagram.
And
a kind of word of mouth too. Like for example, I just shot this past Sunday this lady who wanted me to shoot her maternity photos, and so her husband and their dog, we all met in a field in Morley Park, or Morley Field Park, and there was like wildflowers, and it was so green and pretty with after all this rain that we've been getting, and so I kind of asked her, I was like, hey, how'd you find me and stuff, and then she's like, oh my gosh, I got your you did my friend's maternity photos last year, and when I saw your work, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to have this photographer. And I was like, that's so cool. Like, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it's word of mouth. But then, I'm just advertising like on my personal Instagram.
Yeah. I think that's really awesome. The more recent story I heard from you the last time we spoke was you were doing some photography product shots for a candle scent, a candle, or is that what it was? Candles?
It wasn't candles. It was they look like candles, but it was little body butters.
Oh, body butters. Yeah,
like face, and hair butters.
Yeah, and you met her from just like kind of networking and doing your thing at another event, and then you kind of just made the connection that way.
Yeah, so I was shooting an event. It was like a Sunday market event at this local coffee shop. Shout out to Mystic Mocha. Um,
It's your
and
spot.
it's my spot, yeah. And so they were having a Sunday market with just a bunch of different vendors. They had like a DJ there. They had people selling art and people selling jewelry and different products and stuff. And so I was kind of just going around before I started shooting the photos, and I was kind of just introducing myself to people that I didn't know, and I was like, hey, like I'm gonna be shooting photos, like, you know, if you see me, don't think that I'm just like a weirdo, a creep. Yeah, and so I ended up going up to this girl, and you know, I was just kind of introducing myself, and we just started talking, and we're just vibing, and like
Yeah.
we just really like hit it off, and so we ended up talking for like 15 or 20 minutes about her business, about what she was making, those little hair, body, and face butters and stuff.
Nice.
And then I was like, oh yeah, well, like I'm not only taking like these photos of today, but I'm a photographer. This is, you know, what I do and stuff. And she's like, oh my gosh, like let's get together and like let's shoot. And then I was like, sure. And she was like, well, I know this is kind of like last minute, but like, what are you doing tomorrow? And I was like, nothing. I was like, I am free. And so it ended up just like working out. And like, if you know, I never would have met her if I wasn't shooting photos for this Sunday market and stuff. And it's just always a good feeling when you like have that feeling with somebody.
For sure.
So it was so
Yeah.
cool, yeah. And she was really nice. And we have already done 2 photo shoots, and then she's coming back on like April next week. April next
Right.
week. Yeah.
See, that's huge. And I feel like a lot of people in any kind of freelance industry, service-based industry, really neglect the power of like just word of mouth and referral and being out in the field, because that's like a huge way to get business and stuff too. It's just being readily available. And I mean,
Yeah.
also vibing with people, like you said, you wanted to throw it out there too. You're like, hey, like I'm taking photos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think you do such a good job, like as do I myself, in producing people and making people feel comfortable in front of the camera, and that's like a huge part.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like I've gotten way better about that, because I used to be a little like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to do when they ask me to pose them?
Right.
Or if they're awkward, then I'm going to be awkward. And
Yeah.
it's just, you know, it's just something that you got to say like, hey, you know, my job as a photographer is to make them feel comfortable, do whatever it takes to make the client feel comfortable
Yeah.
and safe and happy and want to come back. And I feel like me and you both do a really good job at like hyping people up.
Oh, of course you have to. You have
Yeah.
to get the energy up for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So I think that we're like similar in a lot of those ways.
Right. I've actually very recently I've heard a lot of instances of I've encountered the same story of people have really not liked the videographer or photographer before them because of that specific reason of just vibing, hyping it up, the energy,
Yeah.
or giving like direction behind the camera. They just really dropped the ball in that aspect a lot. I think like a large majority of videographers and photographers, they just get behind the camera, hit record, and they're like, okay, go ahead, do your thing. But it's like, no, people like you and I, we're like in the weeds with them. We're like, how can we make this
Yeah.
better? Like, I want to help you. Like, what's the storyline here? What's the script? Like, what'll make this look the best? Here's my recommendations.
Hmm. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they can be prepared, and then when the camera turns on, they're like, oh shit, I just like
Yeah.
forgot everything that I wrote down.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, it's you know, it's our job to kind of just be like, to prompt them or something, or just be like, hey, would you feel more comfortable if I asked you a question and then you were like having a conversation with me, or if I, you know, whatever.
That's not your first time doing product photography either. You've done product photography in the past too. What do you think takes up more of your business? Product photography or portrait photography?
Definitely portraits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's, you know, 90% of the photos I do. Portraits meaning people, whether it's like headshots in my studio or family photos or just creative, you know, creative lighting and if someone comes to me and they're like, hey, I don't really like, I have an idea of kind of what I want, you know, can we make it happen? And we're like, fuck yeah, we can make it happen. And so we just like kind of work together and come up with the vibe, whether it's like moody and dramatic, whether it's like bright and airy,
Right.
whether it's indoor, outdoor, whatever.
I had the ability to go with you on your last shoot to help you shoot a YouTube video where you were photographing someone who just got done with their bodybuilding experience for weeks on end. I think he said 20.
It's 20 weeks, yeah.
20 weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was really cool to see you in your element again. I think I go back to like lighting and stuff like that because the client of yours, he already had a particular vision, Colt. And he looks really good. He knows what he wants. And so I think you were like that perfect person to bring that to life because you guys just mashed really, really well. On all fronts.
Yeah, he's my friend. We've shot together probably like 4 or 5 times already, and so and I used to be like a client of his, and he used to be my trainer, my personal trainer, and so he competed in his in this bodybuilding competition. He got first in his division, which is so cool.
Huge.
And then in his words, he said, I want you to like take pictures of my body before it turns to shit. that was his words. Right. And I was like, it's not going to. Are you kidding?
Right.
Like, and so, so he came to me and he said, hey, I want these photos to be moody. And I was like, yes, perfect.
You're like, that's
I
my
love
style.
moody. Yeah, I know. And so it was cool because it wasn't like I had to do something that I, wasn't too comfortable with or too familiar with. And so we did it, and oh my God, you were there. I'm almost done editing the YouTube video, and
Nice.
You're just a fucking beast. You're just a man. Like you're just a man and the man.
That's awesome though. You're almost finished editing that video.
Yeah, there's so much good content in there. Nice. And it's incredible. But yeah, going back to like lighting and stuff, and it was like a 1 or 2 light shoot.
Right.
Well, like I said in the video, it's all about like shadows.
Yeah.
Side angle lighting.
I know it was interesting for me too, because on the opposite end, I have actually never been in that situation where filming where there is like no light. And I was like, oh, this is, you could see like a lot of the footage is dark, and it's like really all you could see is Colt and then maybe like the shadow of you or something like that. So that's all I was like, I'm like really started experiments. I'm like jacking up the ISO. I'm like, okay, like what's going on here? Because it's like, you have to have the lighting controlled for I can't just like flip on the lights here.
Yeah. You're like, pause, I need to get this little for the video.
Yeah.
For Carlo's YouTube.
Yeah. It was good though. I liked it. It seems like we got a lot of dialogue in there too.
Yeah. And I feel like the hardest part of this editing now is going to be like
cutting
it down.
Yeah.
Because there's so much like good stuff and
meat and potatoes, man. Meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I know, right?
Do you still love editing just as much as you did like in the beginning? I
do. Yeah. I love editing. I feel like I started out as an editor. When I had, my first camera, my first editing software was like Sony Vegas Movie Studio on my parents' computer. And it was
That's
great.
great.
it was cool. I did what I did. I mean, this was like more than 10 years ago. And I would just like make videos with my brother when we were growing up, and we would like just do random things, and I would like edit them like so bizarrely. Like I thought like the more like vibrant colors and like the weirder things that I did was like so cool at the time.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so I still love editing for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I think that like yeah, the more you love the craft, it's just like it just makes it way easier. But that's cool. That's awesome. I like that. So you picked up a camera fairly early then, huh? You were saying.
Yeah. So I in high school I was in the like um, the school news, like what is it called? Like
Journalism?
it wasn't as I guess it was kind of like journalism, but and so I was like going around and I was like filming people like talking, and so that was what
Right.
kind of like got me into it and into like like photo and video, and then
Right.
so then as I was getting junior and senior year of high school, I realized like, hey, this is kind of what I want to do in life,
Yeah.
and so then I graduated and then I went to SDSU and I got a film production degree, and the
Nice.
rest is history.
Stan, dude, that's amazing. I don't think I knew that about you. Interesting. That's awesome. Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't find much interest. Not that I didn't find much interest, but I didn't find out about like using a camera until way later. I briefly did a little bit in high school, but I mean, yeah, I was very minimal. I always thought those people were cool though. If they had a camera, I was like, man, they're so cool, man. I was like, what? I was like, maybe I could be a photographer.
Yeah, and you are.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Look at you
Oh, that's funny.
manifesting.
Yeah. What when did you know that you were ready to step up the ante and go into a studio? Because you have your own studio and a lot of photographers and videographers, people with a camera are always trying to figure out when's the right step. I guess I have two questions. When's the right step to go on your own? And then when's that next step to level up, get the studio and you know it's right? Can you speak a little bit about that?
I made my business in 2019, pre-pandemic, pre-COVID,
Mm-hmm.
and then I got my first studio. I think it was like 3 years ago. So probably like around during the pandemic, like
Yeah,
2020
you
or
moved quick.
2021. Um, I I got a little studio in Mission Valley. It was in one of these like.
Oh, I
Do you
know.
remember?
Yeah,
Oh yeah. And so it was.
that's where the first Wave merch drop was at.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like a tiny little place, and I just literally just had a backdrop and my lights set up, and I thought that was like so cool to be able to have that and stuff. And I mean, it was like, I don't know, like $800 or $900 a month, and I was like, okay, like I could do this. And then, excuse me, and then I was not getting enough shoots to, like, I wasn't doing enough shoots to make
To justify.
exactly to justify, and so I ended up moving my studio to down here in Chula Vista.
Nice. That's interesting. I like that.
And so I don't even know where I'm going. So sorry to answer your question.
No, go for it.
Sorry. I feel like now I'm the worst.
No, you're the best. I love it.
I feel like anybody can do it at any time that they feel like it's never going to be the right time. You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
You just got to like pull the trigger and jump in like feet first or head first,
Yeah.
or whatever you want to do. So I feel like if you're kind of like thinking about getting a studio or on the fence or whatever, if you can afford it, do it. If you can't afford it, but you're willing to put in the work to try to make rent and make shoots happen and stuff, just
Yeah.
again, just do that. And I mean, like I said, there's not really like the right time or the best time.
Right.
It's just like, if you want to do it, do it.
Go for it.
It's if you end up failing, you can always say like, hey, I learned this and this and this, and I know that I'm not booking enough shoots, booking enough headshots or booking enough portraits
Right.
to justify the month. And so
Yeah, 100%. That's huge because it's when it's your full income. I have this conversation with Ave all the time. It's like you don't have the steady paycheck that hits every Friday. It's like the paychecks hit at different times,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to really learn how to conserve, or sometimes you have to allocate it properly. And then, I mean, spending money in between the week, huge. It's like I've done really well. I don't know about yourself, and you can maybe attest to this a little bit about even simple things, just like eating out. Like the times I eat out is dramatically less. I was eating out maybe 3 times, 4 times a week before, and now
Yeah.
it's like we're like once a week we try to.
Totally. I feel like I used to eat out so much, and then I started doing this 75 hard challenge and stuff.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
and I feel like since that, it's not only like helped me feel better and look better, but it's like helped me like save money, because
For sure.
I was spending so much, and like I'm a consumer. I like having lights. I like having camera equipment.
Right,
I
right.
like having gear. I like having food in my belly, and not food that I make.
Yeah, Carlo balls out. I love it.
Yeah, but no. I hate it. Sometimes.
I want to talk about a couple more things before we take off here. You have very recently, very recently, we've been talking about this. You had this interest in starting a camera club,
Yep.
a photo club,
Oh.
and maybe you could talk a little bit about that, your vision on that, for anybody that is interested or would like to join.
For anybody that's interested and wants to join. So the idea that I had was every month, once a month, on the first weekend of the month, I wanted to dedicate an hour to getting a group of people to come together and just take photos, just shoot. And so instead of having just people just shoot whatever, or because it's just, it's so broad. You can shoot the sky, you can shoot a portrait, whatever, you can just shoot anything. I kind of wanted to a little bit narrow it down somewhat and think about having themes, having monthly themes. So for example, one of the themes could be like architecture or urban street photography or something, and we could all hypothetically meet down in downtown San Diego at 1 p.m. So from 1 to 2 p.m. So like 1 to 1:15 would probably be like everybody meets there. We go over the rules. Hey, everybody, your thing has to be somewhat. The theme is somewhat like street photography or architecture.
Cityscape.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to throw in a required element, which I got from, which I kind of stole from the 48-hour film project. But the required element would be like, so you have to go based off of this theme. You could shoot whatever. You could shoot a portrait of a girl standing in front of in the middle of downtown San Diego street or something, whatever. But you have to include a window or something. There has to be a window in the frame or something. And so, so that was just like an example. And every month would be different themes and one different like required element. But that was my idea, and I'm excited to do it because I think I'm going to start the first weekend in May.
Yes. Anybody that's listening right now, if you want to go onto Instagram, he grabbed the handle Any Camera Photo Club. If you guys want to give it a follow, I know that he'll be putting out some details on there as well. I'll be helping Carlo with this as well. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm more excited for the merch.
Yes.
It looks super cute, and so I'm excited.
Yeah.
I like the concept of getting photographers and together and mobbing around the streets, or I mean, just being in the neighborhood.
Yeah. And so I feel I agree. I feel like I don't want this to be a thing where it's people are getting discouraged because they're not winning. I don't want it to be
Yeah.
I don't want it to be a competition or anything. And so like I was talking to my parents about this, and my mom was saying, "Oh, if I went, like, I don't know anything about lighting or photography or something."
That's so cute.
She's like, "But I would want to go, and I would just like want to have fun and maybe ask other people that are in photography, other photographers, ask them questions about, like,
Yeah.
whatever. Oh, how do you light this, or what's the best way to, get this in
Yeah.
whatever."
What do you shoot with? Like, what kind of camera do you have?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. What lens do you use?
Yeah.
All these questions.
And so I didn't want it to be like geared towards only professional photographers or only people with like the best equipment. I wanted it to be free, and I want everybody to be able to join. So that's why I wanted to call it Any Camera Photo Club.
Heck yeah.
So you could use any camera, whether it's a toy camera, whether it's a Polaroid, whether it's a $5,000 mirrorless camera, or a phone. Just everybody has the most ideal camera right in their pockets. Everybody has a camera phone.
I love that. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna bring out my film camera or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, nice. Awesome, Carlo. I do have one more question. This is like a personal question. It's not really for like anybody else. It's for me. I'm a really big Super Smash Brothers fan. And the way we met, and actually I remember very vividly how we met. I don't know if you do, but
I do.
so in order to get to my apartment when we lived next door to each other, I'd have to walk by Carlo's apartment. And the places where we're at, they'd have big roll-up garage doors on the front. It's a garage door connected to the living room, if you can imagine. And so he would always have it open, and he'd be playing Smash Brothers all the time on the Nintendo Switch. And I would always want to say something because I thought it was like, damn, this guy's so cool. And then the times would pass. Also too, because it's like stepping into your living room. It's a weird thing to do. And I saw you with your camera gear the next time. I was like, oh man, this is it. Like, me and this guy were destined to meet.
I love it.
So I think I stopped you and asked you like about, I think it was like your camera or something, or I asked you what you shot.
Yeah.
And then, we connected over that as well. But do you still play Smash Brothers on the Switch?
I do, but I haven't lately.
Okay.
I just recently bought a PS4, like a used PS4.
Oh, interesting.
And so I've just been slamming on Call of Duty, and
Nice.
I'm obsessed. I mean,
That's
I
awesome.
used to play Call of Duty like growing up so much.
Same.
Yeah, really? Oh my
Yeah,
God, there's like
on the
so
Xbox
many,
though.
like Call of
Yeah.
Duty, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, Black Ops. Those were the only ones that I played.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But it was so fun. I remember when I had, and then I remember you coming over and like sitting on my couch and like playing.
Yeah, we played for a bit. That was pretty funny. I think you smoked me too. I was like, damn. Because I hadn't played too much on the Switch. I play a lot. I think I play maybe like, I don't know, once a week now.
Yeah.
Still Smash Brothers. I'm still trying to beat the story mode, but that's for another day. But I like you, I grew up on Call of Duty, and also Super Smash Brothers Melee was like huge for me. I had a GameCube, and me and my neighbor would just play on it all day long.
I grew up having I had a PlayStation 1, and then we had like a Nintendo 64, and then I think I had a PlayStation 2, and then PS3 was like the newest biggest thing, and then we just like put it aside, and then I recently picked it back up, and I'm like, yes, I missed it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Carlo, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I think you're amazing.
I appreciate you so much, and I think you're amazing. I think that like I've said this before, but I feel like we both work really, really well together, and I'm excited for us to start this Any Camera Photo Club. So
Yes.
check it out.
Heck yeah. And it's like and I think about it too. We always keep saying like, oh, we need to work with each other. And it's so funny. Like
Yeah.
we've literally worked with each other on
There's
so many projects already.
There's so many projects.
Yeah. We're always like, we got to start working with each other.
Yeah.
It's like, we've already done it so many times.
And then you'll be like, hey, can I like come down and like to your studio and like we'll shoot this stuff. And then I'm like, hey, can you come help me like film this like video? And it's just like all over the place. But I love it.
Oh, that's so awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Carlo. I think you provided everyone so much value and insight today. I'm sure they appreciate you.
I hope I did.
Yeah. And if you guys want to follow Carlo, he's on Instagram at Cup of Carlo.
Cup of Carlo.
Yeah.